motivation and so on. I want to show you then, when you've seen things a certain way, based on maybe your upbringing like me, like I didn't want to go to university, and then you make decisions based on that, right? And then your results, your behaviour follows. How we make decisions. Now I know some of you got some pretty big decisions to make this year, and so in order to show you or give you some insight into how we think and how we make decisions, I need some volunteers. And in fact, I don't know if there's too many people in the room to make us a line. What I need is a group of people to come up and do a whole line. It'd be good if everyone could come up so you can have a bit of a stretch as well. And maybe we just make a really big long line around the room and just face out that way. Okay? Just stand shoulder to shoulder. So here's a situation. I'm going to give you a scenario. It's about going to a party. Okay? And I'm going to build more detail about this particular party. And I want you to kind of move yourself where you think you belong on this line. As if, if this sounds like a really good idea for you, a great night out, I want you to stand at this end of the line, and you can group together if you want to. And if this is like my worst nightmare, this party, you stand at this end of the line. Okay? Does that make sense? So you just position yourself where you think you belong in terms of the detail of this party. So here's the first one. The first one is that it's your uncle's 40th birthday party. Okay? So if you love your uncle, that end of the line, hate my uncle, that end of the line. And this is the middle. That's the middle right there. All good? Okay, here's the next one. Alright guys, your uncle is really into costume parties, alright? 1960s hippies type stuff. Chuck it on. Hippies, sort of bright colours. Great night out, worst nightmare, costume party. Okay, next one.
What are you wearing, baby?
Your uncle is really into karaoke. Says it right? Into karaoke. Great night out. Worst nightmare. There's no alcohol at this party. No alcohol. Great night out, worst nightmare. All right. Next one. Like there's 100 of your relatives coming in from all over the country, and your uncle wants you to give a speech at this thing. Great night out, worst nightmare, great night out. Okay, last one. You got dropped off at this party and you're going to have to walk home in the dark. It's about 7 kilometres out in the rural area. Okay, walk home in the dark. Great night out, worst nightmare. Okay, take a seat, guys, and we'll talk about it. What I'm interested in is how you were able to make a decision to decide where to stand in this line, right? So what do you think was happening inside your head as I was giving you this information? What were you doing? Okay, one person hand up. Okay.
How much you either hate or love to do, whatever.
Right. So you were what? Imagining yourself doing it, right? And what were you sort of? How were you able to gauge from that picture of you doing it? What enabled you to imagine whether or not you'd like it? That's right. Your past experiences, right? Your memory. So what you're doing to make a decision is kind of like this mental time travel, you could call it. It's like you're seeing yourself into the future, yeah, with a scenario of karaoke or whatever it might be, and you're bouncing that picture off of your past memory. See? So our memory is what helps us make decisions about how I know myself to be. Okay? Now, if some of you have got some big life decisions to make this year and you don't know what you want to do, this is my story, then maybe you don't have enough information yet, as again, for brain to be able to put yourself into that possible scenario. Maybe you need to find some more information to say, well, I could go into the armed services, or I could be an electrician, or I could go to university or Polytech, whatever it might be. Yeah. And if you're not sure, just gather more information. Spend this year gathering more information and putting it in as much as you can. You say, okay, I know I'm going to university, but I don't know if I'm going to go to Auckland or Otago. Well, I don't know what Otago is like. What it would be like living in Dunedin. Well, go to Dunedin if you can, right? And find out how cold it is, right? And go, I can't live here, it's too cold, right? And now you know Auckland's the place, okay? What you do, when you imagine yourself there, you use then your feelings, your emotions to guide you. You say, yeah, I could really see myself doing that, and that feels good. Yeah? And as you get that sort of positive emotion, use that as a clue. That's your guidance system. You're built with this guidance system to tell you whether or not to go this way or this way. Okay? But you need enough information to be able to put yourself into the future. It's called forethought, to imagine yourself there, to get a strong enough feeling about whether this is a good decision or not right now. Okay? So keep that in mind. It's our forethought and our emotions that help us get there, but you need to have more information put in your memory to bounce that future picture off your feelings. Does that make sense? I hope so. Okay. Sometimes also you might have an idea about you really want to do this, but you think, oh, well, as I said earlier, I can't because I'm not good at something at the moment. You've got a sort of a limiting belief or an unhelpful belief. Don't worry about it. Okay. If you think I really want to learn that, just do it. And you've got a good positive emotion, just do it anyway. And I've had friends who have one guy, he wanted to be in the police service, and he trained for 2 years to get into the police, right? And this is all he wanted to do. And he was working just as in a pub, as a barman, but he was going to be a policeman. That's his goal. 2 years, and then he got in, and he went to police college down in Lower Hutt, and he was there for a week, and guess what he found? It sucked, right? He hated it. Have you ever seen that movie, Madagascar? Those penguins? And they go, we're going to the wide open spaces of Antarctica. Yeah. The whole movie's about going to Antarctica, and they get there, what happens? They hated it, right? And that might happen to you as well, right? But you've got to decide, you've got to choose something, get there, and then just kind of say, oh, well, actually, this is not what I thought at all. And then make a new decision, right? And then go on to the next thing, and the next thing, next thing, next thing. Right? So that might happen, but that's okay. At least you made a decision, and you're focused on where you want to go. All right? Okay. I hope this helps.